myself. Da 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 da. Okay, I can hear myself. All right. So, boom, and it's like that, and it be like that. Boom. I'm ghetto. Okay. I need a producer. Hopefully, guys, tonight is the night that this thing wants to behave. But just in case, I got to record it because I'm learning from my mistakes. All right. So, just going to pull this up really fast. And like that, we live. Sorry for the delay, guys. Just got home, had to get my groceries together because I had them delivered, all of that stuff. So I had to make sure everything was going to be okay. Okay, so it looks like everything is perfect. So let's get into it. Welcome to tonight's episode. If you're new here, I go live every single Thursday at 7 p.m. I am your virtual mentor, Izzy. I almost said 850 Izzy. And I teach everything that I know about finance, productivity, and protecting your overall well being. Now, we've been going over uh, ways to get out of debt. We've been talking about getting out of debt, and that's going to be what we're talking about for the next few weeks, okay? Because I really want you guys to understand why it is you get out of debt and understand that it's not the end if you're neck deep in debt. All right. So I want to share with you all that I can about getting out of debt. And tonight is a very wonderful episode. Okay. Because I'm going to teach you 2 fast ways to get out of debt. And you probably already know this. If you already know this, I'm just going to explain it. It should be like a review for you. But for those of you that don't know, you are in luck, my friend. So be sure to be tuned in. I'll try to keep this short and sweet. And this is making some noise. Okay, there we go. All right. So, in the last episode, I talked about ways that you can prolong your debt journey if you don't plan for it and things like that. I don't want you to go into debt without a strategy, okay? I don't want you to prolong your debt. I want you to get out of it as fast as possible. So tonight I'll be teaching you 2 common methods that people use to get out of debt. Now, these methods can fast track your debt payoff. Keep in mind, though, I am referring to any and all forms of consumer debt. This is personal loans, student loans, car loans, personal credit cards, payday loans, medical debt, all of that stuff, okay? If it's charging you a high interest, and it's not making you money, we want to get rid of it just like that, okay? Disclaimer, though, I am in no way, shape, or form giving any personal financial advice. I am a finance coach. I'm just not your finance coach, and I am not allowed to teach anything dealing with investment yet. Okay, but with that said, please take everything. Please know that everything that I speak is coming from personal experience, my testimonies, the testimonies from research and study that I've done. So you should definitely use and apply everything at your own financial risk. But it's not going to be much of a risk because we're getting rid of debt, okay? But I do, all jokes aside, I do want you to apply it based on your personal financial situation. I don't know that because I'm not your financial coach. Okay. We're going to talk about how to get out of debt 2 ways really fast. But first, step 0, okay? Before we do any of this, before we even think about paying debt, reminder that you must prepare and plan. You cannot know how to best defeat your enemies if you don't know or understand who they are, okay? With that said, like I said, you want to list every single debt that you owe and the minimum required to pay it off, okay? This is what your budget is going to consist of. Your budget is going to have your minimum payments for debt, okay? Because you don't want to fall behind on those, all right? Then we're gonna budget to see how much more money we can allocate towards debt. This is the reason why we're making this plan, okay? If you do these things, These two methods will give you the best way to attack your debt. Now, for all intensive purposes, like I said, I don't know your personal financial situation, but let's use this example. So I want you to be writing some notes, all right? Let's assume that we make $4,000 a month, and after all of our expenses, including the rent and the mortgage and our minimum debt payments, we have an extra $250 left over to put towards debt, okay? Now, how are we going to get out of debt? There's going to be two ways. All right. Number one, the first way we can get out of debt is by utilizing what's called the debt avalanche. Okay. This is where we're going to take all of our debts that we listed and we're going to pay them off in order from largest interest to the smallest interest. In other words, okay, we don't care about a balance. We don't care about how much that we owe somebody. We care about how much more money they're charging us to have the debt. Okay, so if you have a debt that's accruing at about 23.5%, you want to get rid of that as soon as possible because, let's say it's a $600 balance, right? You want to get rid of that because it's charging you more money, a lot more money, and in some cases almost double if you're over 15%. Trust me, I know. If you're over 15%, you're basically getting charged double for what the amount is. So you want to get rid of the highest amount that you're being charged to have money to the smallest amount. Okay, how does that look? Because I know I can go off on the deep end and under explain things or kind of like overcomplicate things. So let's just use an example. Okay, let's say we have 5 debts. Okay, we have one debt that's at $500 charging us 17.75% annually on interest, and these are all going to be annual. So, but our minimum payment is going to be $75. So this is more along the lines of like a credit card that you're owning, okay? This is more like a small credit card or maybe a payday loan. I wouldn't say a payday loan because payday loans are a lot more. But best worst case scenario, this is about what a average credit card would be. Our second debt is going to be $3,000 at 23.5% interest, minimum payment of $120 a month. Okay, this is more along the lines of like a personal loan, or unfortunately, in worst cases, you've racked up this much in credit card debt. Whatever is charging you this much. Number 3 is $10,000. We owe $10,000 at 4.9% interest. Our minimum payment is $105, okay, a month. So this is more along the lines of like a student loan. If you're, getting rid of a student loan or something like that, or maybe coming down on a mortgage, you'll usually see about that low when it comes to, debts and things like that. Or if you got good credit, you might be seeing this. I don't know. But number 4, our debt, we owe $6,000 at 19% interest, minimum payment of $240. So this is, again, more along the lines of like a personal loan or something like that. And last but not least, I know you see this big number. We have a debt at $18,500. Charging us 23.95% interest, and our minimum payment is $740. Now, if you can guess, that's more along the lines of about an auto loan, or if you're paying for a car or financing a car, you'll usually see about that much. Okay, so if we totaled up all of our minimum monthly payments, the 75, 120, 105, 240, 740, all together, the minimum amount that we would need to pay in order to, stay and not stay in the debt's good grace and not occur late fees or anything like that. The minimum monthly payment is $1,280 a month. Okay, so that's the bare minimum that we would have to pay. Okay, mind you, we're making $4,000 a month if you've been keeping up with that. So that's looking at about a little over a quarter of our expenses. That's a lot of money towards debt, okay? So, but I want you to get out of this fast. So, like I said, on Debt Avalanche method, it will look like this, okay? And I'm going to put the example on the left side, and I'm going to put a chart on the right side, and that's going to look like this. So you got your debts sitting here on the left side so that you can keep, a track of that. But like I said, we have an extra $250 a month that we can allocate towards our debt, okay? So that $1,280 in addition to that $250, I think that's somewhere along the lines of $1,530, okay? So we're paying $1,530. If that math is off, please, please do not judge me. I had a long day at work, okay? But if we're doing the Debt Avalanche method, again, we're paying from the largest interest to the smallest interest, okay? So we don't care about the balance. We definitely want to keep paying the minimum. Here's how that will look. So we have our first debt that we would pay off, okay? We would take that debt that's $18,500 because it's 23.95%, making it the largest debt, okay? The largest interest that we're having to pay, and that's going to be $740 a month plus the $250. So we're going to attack all of this money, all of the extra money and we're going to pay that first debt, okay? So we're paying $990 towards this $18,500, okay? And we're going to pay that every single month until it is paid off. All right. Now, and then once it's paid off after a couple of months or, maybe a year or so, haven't done the math on that, we're going to take care of this $3,000, okay? Because it's at 23.5%. All right. But here's the thing. Once we've paid off this $18,500, guess what? We have an extra $990. That does not mean you celebrate for victory, okay? What that's going to mean is you're going to take that $990 and you're going to add it to the minimum. By the way, we're going to be paying extra towards debt number 1 while still taking care of the minimums, okay? So whatever the minimums are, we're still going to take care of debts 2 through 5, paying the minimums until we pay off. And we're just going to add that extra $250 to that $740 on that $18,500 loan, and we're going to pay that until it's paid off. But when we pay that debt off, we can cross that off. We have an extra $990. All is not done yet. You still have to work, okay? So you're going to pay $990 towards the second debt plus the minimum payment. That's going to give you $1,110 a month that you're tackling towards debt number 2. You see how this is going? Okay, you see why it's called the Debt Avalanche? It's because we're taking the rollover balance of what we paid from the debt above, and we're applying it to the next debt. So guess what that means? We're going to pay $1,000 until this $3,000 is paid off. Now, if you do the math, that's going to take you about 3 months to pay off. Am I right? A little under 3 months, being that you're paying $1,110. But here's the thing. You might be paying less than that because, you are still paying off the minimums. Okay, so you might have a little bit less of a balance. So it might take a little bit less than 3 months to pay this off. But regardless, and there's interest involved. So of course you're getting charged every month. So, you got to, think about that. But I don't want you to think about that. I want you to think in the next 3 months after I paid off debt number 1, I got the $3,000 taken care of. So when you pay that off, guess what? You got an extra $1,110, okay? But I don't want you to stop there. I want you to keep going. We're going to take care of debt number 3, which is that $6,000, okay? Because it's at 19%, okay? We're going to pay that $1,110 that we've accumulated from debt 1 and debt 2, and we're going to apply that to the minimum, which was $240. Okay, so now we're paying a total of $1,350, okay, while still taking care of debt number 4 and number 5 at the minimum. And we're going to pay that until debt number 3 is taken care of, okay? So guess what? By now, you're probably getting it. By the time that's taken off, guess what? We got that debt at $500 sitting at 17.75%. And you might be thinking, well, why couldn't I just pay off the $500 in the beginning? I like where you're headed, but stick with me. You're way ahead, and I got you, okay? But once we pay off the first 3 debts, we can take care of this $500. Guess what? We got an extra $1,350, but we don't need all of that. Why? Because we can just go ahead and pay off that $500 balance, if that, okay? But we're gonna roll over the rest, okay? So I'm not worried about the $75. So we'll say, well, I did worry about the $75. So we're gonna take that $1,350, add the $75 minimum on that $500, and that's going to give us a total of $1,425 for the last and final debt, which is that $10,000. So we're going to pay that $1,425, which is already a huge number, but we're still going to apply the minimum, which gives us all of $1,530. That's where I got that number $1,530 from. Okay, so you're taking all $1,500 that you were paying for 5 debts, and you're putting it all into one debt, okay? And it has rolled over, and it has rolled over so much till now you're fast tracking your debt, okay? Here's why I love Debt Avalanche. Financially, logically, this method is the best because it will save you the most amount of money, okay? Excuse me. but I can hear your heads, because you saw that 18.5 sitting up there and you're like, whoa, that's a big number. And that's pretty much my issue with Debt Avalanche. Okay, the problem with Debt Avalanche is, even though it's still a fast track, okay, it will still take you a lot of discipline, because large payoff amounts may mean that you don't see results for a while, okay? And as you know, we only got into debt because it was immediately gratifying, okay? So we don't want to have to spend, that might be 2 or 3 years before we get out of that 18.5, before we start to see results. And if you're like me, you want to see results right now, okay? I'm a person that wants to see results right now, and there's nothing wrong with that if you are too. But if that's you, you may want to check out this other method, and that's going to be the Debt Snowball, okay? Whereas Debt Avalanche, we were worried about interest, largest interest to smallest interest. That's the most logical and mathematically reasonable approach to paying off your debt. But we didn't get into debt because of our logical thinking, because if that was the case, we wouldn't be in debt. Trust me, all your purchases were emotional, regardless of if you say so or not. Okay, I don't care what kind of logic you're putting to it. But as with Debt Avalanche, Debt Snowball, we're going to focus on the smallest balance to the largest balance, okay? So in other words, we don't care about interest, okay? We don't care about how much interest per, all of that stuff that involves math, okay? We just want the smallest number to pay off, the smallest payoff balance to the biggest payoff balance, all right? No math involved whatsoever. So here's what that's going to look like. I'm going to rearrange it, but I'm still going to have the examples on the left side. Check this out. We still have our $500, $3,000, $10,000, $6,000, $18,500 in debt, okay? Now we're worried about which of these numbers on the left side are the smallest payoff balance, okay? What is that going to be? Mind you, we still have to pay $1,280 a month, and we still have $250 extra that we can spare. Here's how that's going to look. If we rearrange it to Debt Snowball, you would see now that $500, you can take care of that first, okay? The interest amount that's you have to pay on it, forget all that. We don't care about that. We're just going to take that $250 and pay $75 extra, okay? That minimum payment plus the $250. So that's going to give us $325 while we're still paying off the minimums, okay, of the other debts. So we're going to pay off this $250 plus the 75 until that $500 balance is taken care of. Now you can see it. Now we're paying off debt. We're paying off a balance within the first 2 months, okay? As opposed to paying off a balance within 12 to 24 months, all right? So now you're starting to see immediate results. Again, we're going to roll over. We're going to pay $325. The $325 that we racked up, rolled over, we're going to pay that towards the second debt plus the $120. That's going to be the $3,000. That's the next smallest. Interest, again, doesn't matter. We're going to pay $445 a month until that $3,000 balance is still taken care of. Okay? Might take you a little bit longer than 2 months, but you've already paid off one debt within the first 2 to 3 months of you taking care of your debt. So by now you should feel like I can do this. Okay, I can pay this off. I did it before. All right, that's how I want you to feel. Okay, so until that's paid off, we're gonna pay $445. Once it's paid off, we can move down to debt number 3, which is the $6,000 balance. We're gonna pay $445 plus the $240 minimum that it's required to keep this balance out of negative, and so that we don't have to pay extra fees. All right, so we're going to pay $685 towards this debt until it is paid off. Okay, by now you've gotten rid of 2 debts in less than, I'm thinking it's less than a year, but if it's a year, it's probably no more than half a year. You've taken care of 2 debts within 1.5 years. Okay, so once you pay off the $6,000, guess what? You're gonna roll over that $685 and pay $685 plus $105. That's gonna give you $790 a month. So it's a lot cheaper, as you see, until we pay off this $10,000. Okay? No, I'm sorry. I did mean to fix that. So the $240, yeah. Okay, then the $10,105. Okay, that's right. Cool. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Just wanted to make sure that I was on the right track. Okay. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, so we're gonna pay off $790 towards this $10,000 until it is paid off. And last but not least, we're going to take care of this $18,500. Okay, that's the largest balance. By now, you've taken care of 4 debts. Okay, 4 complete debts. You should be looking at this $18,500 like, I can get rid of you. Now I put $105 at the bottom. That's because I forgot to put $740. So you're gonna pay $790 plus the $740. That's gonna give you a total of $1,530. So now instead of taking your little money and paying into the $18,500 like we did in Debt Avalanche because we're trying to save money, now we're going to take we're gonna take that $1,530 and just fast track our way to this $18,500. So it's going to take a little bit less time to pay off that $18,500. But like I said, you've taken care of 4 debts by now. You would be crushing it. Okay? So why I love the debt snowball effect. I extremely love this because psychologically, it is the best. Okay? Psychological. If we're speaking on psychological terms, we buy based off of emotion. Okay? And we desire immediate gratification, okay? There's a few of us that can say, oh my gosh, I can wait, as long as I need to. I'm disciplined like that. Kudos to you, because I'm not, and I don't teach that type of stuff, okay? I teach based off of people, okay? I know that a lot of us, including myself, we ain't sitting here doing this for a long time, okay? When we start small, though, when we get those small wins, when we get those small victories, it keeps us motivated. We want to do more. We feel like we can conquer anything because we're taking those small steps. Now, here's the thing. With Debt Snowball, you're going to pay a lot more money, okay? Because it could mean that you're paying a lot more in interest. So it might mean that you pay a little bit more money. But like I said, psychologically, you're making those wins. You're getting that debt paid off. And I want to encourage you because on average, People pay off their debts using this method within 18 to 24 months, okay? Making this one of my favorite methods to pay off debt, all right? So you might be asking, well, why can't I just go with Debt Snowball? I mean, why did I even have to learn about Debt Avalanche? I want you to learn about these two because everybody is different, okay? You might be somebody that can say, I want to save as much money as possible. But if you're somebody that says, I know I'm not disciplined, I just want at the least amount of mental stress, I want to know that this is going to work, then you might go for the Debt Snowball, okay? Regardless of what method you choose, the end result is you getting out of debt within 3 to 5 years, okay? I don't know your financial situation, but it beats, regardless of what decision you choose, it beats spending the rest of your life paying for debt, okay? Some people go their whole lives, and even when they die, that forks over to their children. I don't want you to be one of those people, especially if you got children. I want you to say, I don't want my kids to be in debt, so I am going to do all I can to make sure that they don't have to carry my burdens, okay? So, regardless of what you choose, you don't want to be spending the rest of your life doing this. I wanted to provide you with two common ways of getting out of debt. Now, when it comes to choosing, again, I want you to choose based on your financial situation. I want you to choose based on your risk tolerance, okay? How much risk are you willing to take, okay? Because I want you to mitigate some of that risk by saving or having $1,000 or $2,000 in your bank account, okay? Before you do this, I do recommend that. That would mitigate any risk if something comes up, you definitely want to be able to take care of it so that you don't get deeper in debt because you're paying off debt, all right? And also your financial situation, okay? I talked about actually, I'm going to talk about that in the next video. I almost got ahead of myself. But based on your financial situation, choose a way to get out of debt. You might not even choose just one, okay? I know I said I use Debt Snowball, but in reality, I definitely use a hybrid of both, okay? It's based on how I'm feeling and what I can do that current month, okay? Because some months aren't like others, all right? But lastly, you want to choose based on your level of discipline. If you know you're not going to be disciplined to pay off debt, I don't want you to go all in and then just, I want you to choose something that you can be consistent with. Okay, that's my whole thing. Okay, regardless of, whatever you choose, you don't even have to choose these methods. You could choose what's best for you. Okay, but regardless, I want whatever you choose, you're going to have to be consistent. If you're not disciplined, you want to be consistent, okay? So you want to be able to do something and do it until the job gets done. That's all I care about, okay? That's all I care about, all right? So here's what I want you to take away from it if you don't do anything else. Getting out of debt without a plan or taking the easy route will end up costing you more time and money than necessary, okay? So I don't want you to take more time. I don't want you to end up paying more money than necessary, okay? Because these companies are not for you. They give you the low-hanging fruit and say, hey, you can buy whatever you want. That's because they know you're going to probably pay the minimum, and they've set it up already to where you can pay the minimum, and they're going to bank off you for years and years to come. I want you to beat them at their own game, okay? Better yet, don't even play the game. Get out of debt as soon as possible, okay? With that said, Debt Snowball, Debt Avalanche can be the fastest methods to getting out of debt, all right? Here's what you should do next, my friend. I will have this posted on financialcoachizzy.com. I want you to definitely come back to this, whenever you need some motivation. And speaking of motivation, I do not have my guide, okay? It is taking a long time to get these guides out. And that's because I really am meticulous about what I'm about to what I'm trying to tell you guys. So I've spent a long time planning this and planning what to say, so before I even thought about publishing something like this. Okay, so I'm a little bit more confident, but when it comes to the guide, I really want information in there that you're going to be able to use. So I'm definitely working day in and day out to make sure that that is where I want it to be, and if it would be perfect for what I'm trying to teach to you. I'm relaying my message in the right way. So with that said, I want you to go to financialcoachizzy.com. I do have another free guide in addition to this guide called the New Money Mindset. Okay, the way that we're going to change our financial situation is by changing our behaviors and our systems. Okay, our daily small habits. Okay, so I want to give you a free guide that's going to show you 5 steps on creating a new money mindset so that you can be set up to get opportunities. And on top of that, I'm going to be sending you once a week weekly insights. Okay, these are things that run through my mind and things that I think about, that's too long for Facebook, because I know you guys see that I post on Facebook. But I'm going to be giving weekly insights and just kind of some motivation to keep you going and things like that, because I am in your corner, okay? I want to help you as much as I can, okay? My goal is to not charge you for information like this, okay? All right, with that said, lastly but not leastly, okay, please check out my YouTube channel, Frugal Freedom. I teach a lot of things regarding productivity, managing your finances, managing your health, well-being, and managing your time. I think I already said that, but well-being, finances, productivity. Okay, so I definitely want you to check that out. I got some more videos on that. All right, so definitely check it out. All right, until next time, friend. Next week we're gonna talk about how you can pay off debt with a low income. Okay, I'm pretty sure if you make less than $15 an hour, you're definitely gonna want to check this out. Hello, tongue. You're definitely gonna want to check this out. So next Thursday at 7, we're gonna be talking about how to pay off debt with a low income. But until next time, thanks for watching, friend. I'll see you. Peace. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.